Good evening, everyone. Tonight is another opportunity for us to have the legal hour. As I said earlier, normally we have this program on Tuesdays in English and then on Thursdays in Twi. But for very special reason, we'll be having the Twi version tonight. Those of you who have been following us on Tuesdays for the English, this is an opportunity for you to learn some Twi. Obviously, on Thursday, MC Chaka will be here to host the program in English. It's going to be the same program that I'm going to do in Twi, that will have the English version on Thursday. So tonight we'll be looking at a very unique area under personal injury law. I will be looking at accident at work or accident at the gym. So without wasting much time, I'm going to swift straight into Twi because tonight's program is going to be Twi. Those of us who want to continue to listen, it's an opportunity for you to learn Twi language. But otherwise, on Thursday, you have the same version in English. At you for a say, Wabe Kaya share video no. The TN say, Anana G, ye continue legal and not MBA, you know. And the Ben say, ye be share personal injury claims. Said the MBA mechano, city law solicitor, say, in Kofo, a more right. Because a young na immigration and a hand Kofo. Kofo any more right, and most times, and never be pre-or no more. Like I said, there was a day I felt very, very sad. My client who has been here for a long time, me and encounter you was a lawyer. A baby car bought me, and I'm trying to no more frame crime and Gina. The nine back way in here. Na Sanyama winner and fan cat down, but in Kofu say, oh, Sabia and Yibia, me to be paying a trodia. Nature say, Bibi to my quemwa, mean to mean cassa. A man and chess, I never to my bossy. I church and go for instead me, client here, I can answer me. Emra or mammy are where Namia and Adamonian and Crata can say, seen a two, I can share seen a tone. Not by 5 years. Claim me since a number within 3 years now to me. And you never perceive to my boys and I'm a church and go for especially on other personal injury, no. I accident if you go officer when you accident to a jumemo. Now so make it claim he be energy. And because of that, no crown or the asheno. A big crana, why are crown puna or the fina, and ye be a sick pay crown puna or climuno. Company sick pay can not your son church on a letter. Now ye didn't any. Because when him the right. Until Sanyama win and the person be can want some. Wish him when so young fair Jim. I'm a good fan of Jim, because Jim. The boy on one, or corner could pray. Because when him say, so I pray no more prayer Jim Horneman, or more right to claim. Jim will be a year. He tries subscription fee and a premium. I think I call could receive those facilities, or more staff for Horneman. Those staffs are supposed to be trained. Anna, near man so a issue ornament so no. I say near ma, and you be a Oko Yusua Emperor. And design near my way an anarchy. By church and Kofumu. Na, sir, a quenchian be sua fanas Oko Pura. A drain I'm running say. A dear is a car now between your free. Oh, a boana, a prana were prana ya dear. A bad effect will be crying a giant mark warning. When you might be crying out your bar, excuse me to say, won't worry. Not be when you akunya mark. Will be who are not be a jar. What done any asher baby. And so claim myself, O Jana, Obey scanner be our day. In fact, I compensate you for sir loss of all this figurement. Now, why Jamanaka? Because be officer. Oko yes are there na ye be you with fear mo. And this anyama winning na no. A random boy a home by. Am I a right? I made me gina so. I claim those compensations no. na ma study we say and pray bia no yeba na abeka most of us are practicing all these areas na abeka housing and immigration and kofo nso ho no ma munya accident ni ma bebre a ha omo ni na ya de say mo hu omo right na nyebia sa kwahia no to omo a omo am fa hu answer fa in silence na mom no omo be say omo's right to claim compensation for those injuries, you know. This is why I come and wanna do ya. Mr. Share video no ma for na omo hu say city law yaba anana dwi e de adwuma pa e bremo ye be discuss accident at work. It is after na be kan ho a pomade an say we be share video no ama wonyankofo ene wabusuafo me ba be dana me won kakra bi me the topic here to joy me dana me won kakra bi na maba nti so our platform no so amenko afi na ye ba be share adwuma na se nti me so ubi our platform so YouTube, Facebook mo amutie radio no City Media Radio mon ko so tie me dana me won break kakra na maba na ya to adwuma and then bet me bo asa church renkofu mu right omo e wadwuma so omo apura ala so ma kwajem no apura sika so omo e de ma omo ayemfa ma omo be cheche mu nyina mu we employer so a obetime atie bi so that be ya obe make sure so wadwuma mo no obi nkopura na abeje compensation a few ono mo nti we obi nso na we employer obetime atie bi na we bi atu wonfo te mo bi a ko ba bia mo twa me dana mo kakra bi na maba. welcome back. Yes, said ye Mekai and a personal injury, accident at work, and an accident at the gym. But will be as say, Wabekai home. Staff and Wabekai home, yes, our program we every Tuesday and Thursdays, 8:30. Ultimate program from the City Media Radio, and also ultimate so I share on Facebook and YouTube. And more Facebook no radio ne YouTube the share me now. And then me per se make a deal for ne asho for adwen. See something unique, which is ejumom. Most times I have made a lot of talks about employment law. Said they acquire fast you go for the idea papa compensation or ultimate claim for unfair dismissal, discrimination, and all those stuff. And now I do it. I do one man I may walk by Babe share say will be a prayer with Jumum. And pray you know be prayer with Jumum. Meaning a lot of people, or more than some major sick pay now at that fee. So a prayer with mum, not getting sick pay, no, not that fee, I bear 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. The air ya cry and say, Nipakona prayer cry na, and you be our fee, no. Now you're trying to threaten and say, it be in it. So I'm Juma back in Tema, it be in it. And another ye baba discuss right and go forward to claim compensation. So when your accident ewe juma mo. Obi biara when your accident we juma mo no. E dey right no. Anya sick leave once na me baba kan once. Na mo compensation bay and obi tumi anya as a result of injury na wanya no. Because some injuries, some of them could be very severe. It be required to me leading to permanent disability. Now, ya just have me say, "Conforme brave, sa nyama si o ma kwan mo." Now, mo say emfa manyame. Obi kura sure say, "Sa de na si wadwuma mo no mo no." So ni na so ko hu lawyer na bia lawyer atro adwuma mo bi so mbe yi na di. Enti member to me boase a chechre nkofo mu right omowo in case so kunya accident e wa adwuma mu a so your prayers na o hwe me a ana wutie me a won so betumi edi bia tumofo ade a we put in place to ensure say nkofo enko pra wa adwuma mu no na mpo so mu pra it will lead to compensation. Yen started. Yeah, Shamrana from accident at work, you know. So, okay, Jumamua. At the end, right, and I writer, want to say, a Jumamuhana wono. Sani Pakrona, what for a Jumuno? Owes you what they call duty of care. That duty of care means say when ready to our honomono and so shows say we're protected. I'm a one pra. And that duty no should not be breached. Which means say on my own pra. Nampo say we pra, it's not so remote, which means say enya there enya the fault. Ena so we pra answer what is your consequential loss? At the end loss ena obe suffer. Wabra we pra no. Anti meto me boase. Makanya mabel 3. Pasani yama we se mekasa me church mu a bet me take be 2 hours. Bambele me to about 30 minutes because me person me we are Obia otie me person bisa any legal questions so nso betumi abisa. Now, say we share mmara a every employer no, as I've said before no, it was our duty no to ensure that kofo a mo ye adwuma no are protected in 4 different areas. 1, so much ensure say Oma employ what they call competent staff. Kese nipa ko no ma fa na adwuma mu no. Oyo bi a adwuma mu no wo no. Oye competent a on konye niama bi pira ne nyankofo. 2, as an employer no provide adequate plant and machinery. 3, so provide what they call safe system of work. 4, so provide safe premises. And these 4 areas no mefa baako na ma church nkofo mu na mo atumi ahu se BBC adwuma mu hono na say follow within these 4 areas na makana, which I'm going to take my time to explain now. I'm more right to claim what they call compensation. And to my entry, competent staff. The reason why employer be so nya competent staff on say so adwuma na say bia onya konkoye bibi or the bibi ko to baabi na say saade no ko prawa. So you are down from poor. That employer is vicariously liable for that injury na nipa krono akoso in the course of his employment. And me find say one kujo na ye adwuma. Kujo you are down for. Mo adwuma mo bi adwuma na mo ye no. Kujo bi e fa no onche onim adwuma na ye yi. Bi e kujo ko fa hama na wato na akọbọ nsa so apira. Yes, koje ya wadan for de when there was a personal relationship no, but the TN say as long as akujo anye fie no won opira na adwuma mo na saade na si no, that's what they call vicarious liability, which means that that employer no or you responsible for injury na kujo akoso no epira na wa pira no adwuma mo no. And just because of the fact say we pray with me mo no na ye wo koliko ye adwuma na mfom so e na ma pira ama wa kupira no, that alone no am I right to claim for what compensation. Now getting to the end of this topic or discussion by church and kofu so how the amount of compensation they should be entitled to. Kofu we pray na omo de amanya me and I am so many more right na omo forfeit is right na omo nya sa sika no. So that's one area. Competent staff one nya na dwuma yi na as a result of bibi a ono wakoye no wakoma wakupira, that employer is vicariously liable for your injury which has been caused by one of your colleagues. Priana wa down for na onipa bia wona ye adwuma no akoso sa injury no, so the bibi kwa to kwem ho na akoso sa injury na eye ono ne fault. Employer don't know are responsible for compensation. And to right go beyond sick leave. Right apart from beji sick leave and a sick pay all right say wasaje compensation. Mama yansa nhwe ebia second area adequate plant and machinery. Adwuma bi wo no ma we ya say employer otumi ema niema bia anyebia saa niama no ebetimi aboa wo ma waye wadwuma ebi wa waye adwuma wo construction site wuhia mpaboa wuhia niema bia gloves bia obetimi de ahye wo nsa ana bia waye adwuma wo factory wuhia some gloves wuhia some niema bia ode be hye wo nsa na online ana se bi kura waye adwuma wo Tesco shop floor bia wo pia cage sa cage no esa ye cage a etumi move anya cage a okopia ya na usisi akobu enti se cage a ye de asu se fire adwuma no se cage no immobilize which means say to me move na se wakopia cage no na se usisi ate na usisi na ate no because of the fact say na unim say cage no ya lodu asu wona say opia no and to me move because we expect that normally cages na say move and akopia no and ate usisi a we are all right to compensation then the entire side there we hear me no kofo bebre anya permanent disability e was any ma we ho and so omonim say they are entitled to compensation. So that's one example. There are numerous examples. I've given one. Mama one, Tesco shop floor. Mama back on construction site. And what I'm saying is, adwuma bia a wo ye na eye say employer no provide plants and machinery no. I so sure say sa niama na odi ama wo no. Wa ma adequate plants and machinery obetumi ede aye adwuma no. So ama sa adequate plants and machinery no na as a result of that no. Ebi wo kwa na wo ye scaffolding. Esa wo fosoro. Employer na so make sure say ladder na so de mawa effective. So humana say wo so asne na wa foro a. So make sure say we provide all those adequate plants and machinery, you know. I bit more why you adwuma no safely. And he said we providing those things, you know. Now say as a result of say when nyaniama so there you obekọ adwuma bi wo yenuanama bi excuse me so mo ye kiri obekọ kra no na bia gross or the best and sa ebi ni ho bucket ebi ni ho niama de be adwuma kra no employer no provide this niama no obewu na ono a de ne pe akoye bibi because say onya tools no de be adwuma na wakopura wa pram po na bia akoda fie be 2 weeks o sa no ho yare no no mo asan start ya church no akosua wa ma adwuma ebe yiwadi o akosua ye sign we na yankwa je report en fi GP ho no mo na ehu ne anti a wontumi ma adwuma me nua no ade nti na etra na nkofo sisi yesa woni na chese enam ye right a yenimuti and where two areas are so important. Me to also discuss other areas. In fact, as I said, the Mesha Sena Mekayano, this particular topic I may discuss is very extensive, but may try to narrow it down. But obviously, you know, in some American, you say be a bush and be or down for be a be atoneda. Tinata me remember Mr. Uncle for say, one share video, no, because I'm moving. So that will be a better side of the way. A high in Africa. When you say baby, if you buy a Juman Cronia being yet, and Tino will be any hover born by a and run an idea, Juma. It is all good, no cupra or right to compensation. Now, say prayer I can. A been a client here may say, may and cut a man you wear, or can't tell so lawyer. I don't know car bore me. Let me link out and Timmy Jane. The night back or Donantia. Onto me and Nassau Street. Sadano, Missumano. Or can't you me no? Case is almost 5 years. Normally, personal injury at 3 years. Tam no job. anka saa nipa no sika ko benya e won life no e betumi abɔ no ho ban because saa disability na wanya no adwuma kra anka so ye no didi wontumi nya adwuma den bebre na ye wonkofo bebre a saa niema we e koso wo mo life omo de anim say oh my pray adwuma mo supervisor say memfa sick leave 2 weeks na odini na de aka ni na achomo na sa de tambia me ye no me twice no me pese me acknowledge viewers are more platform we so na ma continue to so instead of me kan no na we will have for about an hour it me sure bia say so about platform no so make sure say we be share na anyebia onamfofo nso ahun say adwuma no ekoso say afena abeka ye ho a ene ye personal injury na obviously no I don't know for some reason no me no e ma me kwan ma me tumi acknowledge viewers but obi bia na or share no yeah appreciate you appreciate you say wa be kan ho a o ma adwuma no ekoso say wa be kan ho a try and put comments there because it's only through the comments no na me tumi acknowledge viewers say comments are ma I can't acknowledge the viewers so I will entreat everybody to who is working to make a comment for me to know that he says so that I can acknowledge those people if they so wish. People will come say or be acknowledging, but if you so wish, you put a comment there and I will simply do that. So I've discussed 2 things so far. I've discussed the fact that so we a Jumana say a Juman more than for prayer or cry na employer is vicariously liable for that injury. So you are entitled to compensation solely on that basis. My son discuss say Koba say Jumana way no provide adequate plant and machinery. Now say Koba say because of that no one ukupira and also all right to claim compensation. Going further no the third instance say I don't know the idea of a safe system of work. Safe system of work, you know, I know it's slightly different from adequate plants and machinery because whilst adequate plant or machinery and say that mechanic we are cleaning and some amount of clubs and your plants out there by your juma. If you are say we are juma or shop floor cage out in your man be good number to me piano and move sissy. Say we are scaffolding, for example, some amount of ladder, be a home or the best so we instead of your own tension. And to all those things, I know your plants and machinery are the way juma. Now, the third one is a safe system of work. Which one is a safe system of work? Safe system of work is to ensure, say, baby, away a jumano. Say, corridor now, open and nan, open nanam, so. And he said, in Yamagugu, a quam. Na obi nkofa so ompra say baby o no mo na out of bounds and I say baby obi ko no obi pra e so mo de warning sign esi ho no mo say baby o no mo na say sa area no bi ansu agu no mo na say ukutia so na bi obeti ahwe e so mo de warning sign si ho no mo so in short no around the surroundings na wo ye adwuma no that surrounding needs to be safe. Until so safe system of work, you know, it involves say system out the year jumano. I say very, very safe. Until say Koba say employer no ensure say system may be out the edge, maybe say nyama upeja ni say na o de ko ni say. E so ya assessment you say nyama na oba be pija ne sei no e be prawa na inteno no sa no it requires employers say regularly number assessments of duties are perform the duties now perform na say bi o ha betime akoso we injury accident ba they are obliged to show some risk assessment. In people say most of the time, what they call risk assessment. People might be some questions here and there to ensure say no. The way our moyen and the man our moyen and ya there will be a prayer. I know you have the safe system of work. I say for much me enjoy at the workplace. Say by your munkupra. If that is not in place, now so munkupra. And also your home compensation and go for pay to me. I claim. Now, the fourth one, which is also linked to all these other two, apart from the competent staff, is safe premises. Safe premises of work, So me fan say, factory, now we are Juma. Again, employer no needs to be sure say why is the idea. They said the last time I think we discussed about housing disrepair. Now sometimes we call factory be a way Juma. Some Amazon warehouse now way Juma. They need to be sure say be a why is be near there and yeah there be a trend by one na be a bibi a shock. Any shock and electrocution will be as a result of the premises not being safe, Again, you are entitled to compensation. And employers owe employees duty of care to ensure that the premises are safe for those staff members whilst they are on the premises working. And if that employer provided that safe premises for working more care, for example, if baby a akwaye adwuma simple kona je contract say ho na akwaye adwuma so your risk assessment to ensure say place now akwaye say performing those duties that premises is safe and ya dey akowura ho na bia akopira. So there is that requirement for employers to undertake those risk assessments so that be sure say and you bia those places now safe and go for a call na so mo koye adwuma omonko enkupra. So upra there, as said the man before or right to claim it's not only limited to and not just sick leave and a company sick pay and I say unya. In fact, you are entitled to what they call compensation as a result of the fact say one suffer injury because premises are way adwuma baby are way adwuma enye safe because enye safe na bia ma wakopira enti se bia na ehɔ yɛ safe anka bia wan kɔtwen ba ma wanya shock anasa anka wonan ankɔbɔ baabi ma wan tofo obuko bia Tesco shop floor bia na nsuo gu hɔ no so supervisor no duty is ensure so the signs na the born so one am now obviously no room has a trio be most of the time say wages an hour be you have to be sure employer no wants to be sure say yeah maybe I want na open tema ko ye wadwuma na wi bu na ko tie nsu bi so no wapra that premise or that premises is not safe and because of that no ko pra again you are entitled to compensation. So these are the 4 areas that employers need to ensure that employees or they are safe in all these 4 areas. Now, to highlight them for the benefit of more me start here and me say employer first say we adwuma. That employer owes you what they call duty of care, and that duty must not be breached. And if it's breached, your injuries should not be too remote from that breach, which means say employer need breach side duty no of care no na say okopra na just say akoba say because of that no we entitled to compensation claim. And I must discuss 4 areas normally employers omutumi breach those duties na emanko for suffer injuries omutumi pra wadwuma ebini say bia one when wadanfo na ye adwuma bia akoye bibi odi bia akoto kwan anasa ade no wo boa na mara no di bia ko bibi so no da ko bo nsa. So we call that one employers to have what they call competent staff. That means that staff is not competent and it's now cause so injury no. Even though you are down for adwuma mu no de and yet down for same because and you no obey responsible or liable for that compensation you are going to claim no. But employer no. Why? Because we have what they call vicarious liability, which means the employer is liable for any mishap or injury that has been caused by someone to another work colleague in the course of that person's employment. So say nipa kone ye adwuma anya se bi o pra wo fie or ye adwuma na se wako pra wa na che se no sa no nipa kro no akoso injury no in the name of that employer no we entitled to compensation. So our mama adequate plants and machinery not because of say niama is all the adwuma no anya correct na wako pra again we entitled to compensation. So premises na nya saving so gugu baby why is bi ni ade ho no na wakopra and ahoma bi gugu kwam na wakopra and also you entitled to compensation. And above all no niama so a system I saw the year adwuma no they have to be risk assessment say bi niama bi na obi paja safe system of work so the be enkwati usisi. If any of these things happen to you again you are also entitled to what they call compensation. Now, remember, mention ya kofo bebre. They don't take these claims no further. Bua opra na office so kaso ko claim compensation na bia anyebia omo be inadi. Mama men take mu true ni antia employer no oni ho kwan. But I'm also aware, say, especially some of the clients have dealt with. Do our prayer now, that fee, no. So what the fee bear 2 weeks, I be send an employer, no. Actual letter, say sign, non quite your medical record. What the fee I check, what my juma, because we do are not what your company sick pay, what my juma, on be you ready. Into all these things, no. Am I an uncle for? It's true, say, or more. Ekoye claim for compensation for injuries no monya na ebia na anyebia omo antumi anto aso anya omo because bia na ekoyi omodi. And because of that no amankofo bebre no omonya prayer na omode ahye omo nko feda ebu okran so ana obi pen na retro inti prana wo prano office say onim na koye claim na ebi kura na nyebia etena kufie anti me ka say beginning of my career no case bia mete ni pa kro no we ka chema msu bet my claim ama we me ya ni pa kro no wa ma kwa ma forward my anye claim no because already be pay no chro oye adwuma wo atunsa about so sekan pa twanensa ohwemu a say claims we no employers have insurance in place I so bia o kaka o kwan so auto insurance so the bear so kunya kwanhia the other person which is the third party risk no ono our plan no anase ne car cost no insurance for no ebe cover. Employers have similar thing in place. And you know, so what you know, enya employer ni sika, and oba be tria was compensation, you know. Even though sometimes, premium no may slightly go up. And obi wa pay wa say mo be di wani say oh ukoye claim dia e be yi wadi. Anti mema mo defense for these 2 areas in TIA mankofo enye claim. One, so what pra na so wakoda fie kakra. Na say pra na pra bi kura na wani na de awo no ana bi a wonsa ba bi na atwa. Ma permanent disability. You are entitled to huge compensation. Now the TNS say Sekobase and Yibia, those claims now by Bayano. And Nunti employer ne begin to say, or so you a dear. That for those of you are Juma more than 2 years. This is the secret. Apart from say, we claim compensation for injury now was sustaining and employer and person so you are dino. So you are din so you also have a second claim to what they call unfair dismissal. And to whom say in that case, employer will even be terrified because obviously compensation now be tria for injury na there. Insurance for na e be tria. Because budget like insurance to cover those things, because employer be a juma obviously most equal contracts and they will expect you to have those insurance in place because it could affect the continuity of the performance of the contract. And the one that compensation is going to be paid by the insurance company. In fact, some lawyers even deal directly with the insurance company. They even ignore the employer because the insurance company will check out and say, this employer is insured with this particular insurance company. So you can just channel the claim through them. In Sekobana Sana, the employer so you a dear, obey you a deny for your unfair dismissal. A employer na nkasa nisika. Honor the betria sa unfair dismissal compensation claim. No. So you see why it will be very difficult. Very difficult say employer no obey you it because so case obey you a dear. I didn't know about you no. Acquire say because you a dear, she is going to pay compensation for unfair dismissal. So when you are there, it's the insurance company that will pay for your personal injury compensation claim. No. So that in itself, my employer, I a bit scared to dismiss you. Anti men case bia a bit dismiss you untino. Compensation I say, what you know. Onche. Ebia na pra na wa pra na ye pra. Wan hwe ba affect o da achen. Ebia ne say pra no bia nya we. Obi say bedu ba bia a year's time no. And 3 years time bi kura wa fi adwuma mu hono mo no. Na afa na say pra na wa pra no affect o. Now normally say these compensations na claims na you refer clients to what they call medical experts. Those experts will do full assessment to tell whether in future injury will cause you some permanent disability. And all these things will be taken into account in terms of compensation on betrayal. And the Ushemwa Enya there say nkofo ebohu. But I know say there are a lot of people out there nkofo be briwo no more. They won't even go near that compensation because some officers say if they go near it, it be you omodi. Mo amode nkofo pay na true. As I've said before, ebia adwuma na wa prayer no. Wo da fie kakra kwa na. Ebia ebe you adi anyway. Again, as I've said, normally we have compensation. Most of these claims, most of them, as long as accident, there's what they call, it normally leads to what they call settlement. And court, what I can say, beginner box, na kasa. Same way, court, is normally based on paper hearing. So the near my back judge, na judge na trans now I look into it, now I make a decision. But most of them no. Insurance for now I say will be any accident to a akwechia. Na bia clear say be the ababo to. Obi adam says will be the ababo to a. And the pakon da ababo to no fault. And it's all evidence of the ababo to. Now more especially so I admit it. So the ababo to a. Insurance for no pay. Accident. So accident and see a juma. Again, this is why it's so important. You have to ensure that accident is recorded in the accident report sheet. I remember I said there was a time I had a case BC. You do baby, you know, the I ensure accident is recorded in the accident book. They denied it. Open CCTV unya. So when people want to, before person prepare margin, make compensation. So me pray with Jumemua. This is my second or third stage of my. I've talked about my cancer about areas and Kofonia injuries. Entitled to compensation. My child money until me my compensation. Now you are modi. Simple to be point at shore, and that's why you for more than 3 years. The third stage, you know, my child Kofonia my some make sure say is put in place. Say the buyer or more claim. No do about say buyer claim no. Obesho when the back aside do baby not just say Beyebenwo bit me dey so I compensate claim no amano. So when you accident to Beyebenwo normally no before baby mbetro incident report employers no they have that duty to ensure say accident is here that they have for the corridor obetro incident report now so we know so will be recorded in the accident book. It's about a compensation time too. Now say lawyer na your case na some dispute to her. And one say wa call for the accident book and the incident report. Say machine I pray wa. I saw more record of how they have been servicing the machine near there. So if they don't have all those records now, clearly you know, they will admit say hey omo fault to na wapura. That claim no best settle one man no mo twa usika ma. Ono bi any asem. Na ya na confuse through. But normally no, since I case in this no so mu say lawyer kwata wa chikwa na employer no kwa he will not even come near you. I say home office mitigation officer was stop obi. Na ni pa kon the mere fact say lawyer kwa stand authority say stand authority na me person me di wo case ni ma no. Home office for say ni pa kon obi ta na chi. Enti ni no bi a mo ye no. So mo ye no kwan so papa so. Sometimes you know that clients are ya standing authority from just home office from on your market say one word to other be one of my jam be a client baby stay be a lawyer no kwa anyway but just because home office won say lawyer be agro ni munti no omo say nyama bi wo no mo ye na ye no mo twa so and just like a juma so mo say why say claim no na lawyer na edilia they won't even think of even some be you edi separate people you know kofo is true. When sure say accident book no accident is well recorded because the cobas or person ye claim all these things no will be there for people to look at. And then now with me the ignaso at the apesi will claim. And meko just 2 minutes break. Me ba now mama a very short about obviously me time no my starting to time up on 5 minutes. A very short about gem 40 in terms of how I also sustaining injuries were entitled to claim. Now my man for will be person bisa question what maybe sir. Then I'll bring this topic to a close. So I have obviously said I may start here make man for say the elements of compensation are more entitled to so that someone accident in some people were prayer no kwan or any bibia there be you entitled to be taking care of you once you have sustained that injury now will try to recover. All these things will be paid for by the employer's insurance. I'm going to take my time to explain this in a very substantive, in few minutes, for people to know all these things, as well as some discuss it short about this gem and how some people last will be quite collapse with gem. I'm going to some of the claims they are also entitled to when these things happen. It is all kind of one. Just stay with me. I'll be back soon. Hello, thank you everyone. This was a very short break. Now, Saturday, now make counts after I'll be kind of one, and they discuss a very unique topic: personal injury. A quite uncle for ever fast. Now, almost to me, they claim compensation for their personal injury. And so much prayer with mum, and also more prayer with Jim. I've always said, say, you can't almost every area of the law. Most times we discuss immigration here, housing, personal injury, employment, family law, consumer law. And I know, say, we here, be interested in immigration. So we ensure that every time we'll bring variety to people. And the another topic is about personal injury, accident at the workplace. I didn't write now so when you're accident. And only idea I discuss it for the past 45 minutes, if I may say. The last area that I want to talk about is injury at the gym. In a very short, there is what they call occupier's liability, which means that if you go to any premises, including the gym, that operator, the Pacono, again, owes you duty, so be safe at that premises. So again, this is very similar to employment within America, and that's why I'm putting it together. If your machines are on a mobile lifter, most times there should be somebody there to guide you, especially if it is the first time. There have to be an induction to show you how to use the machines here and there. There have to be trained staff that will also assist you. And it's a now one reason or the other, those things are not in place. And I say, be a machine be or require I say, treadmill be or require 40. Or could you answer, and then I stop at once. What you actually? That means that premises no. Your safety have not been guaranteed. So normally if a machine is 40, they are meant to put signs there and put it out of use. So if that is not protected, as a result of that, you could pray. Just like employment accident at work, you're also entitled to what they call compensation for the injuries now was sustaining at the gym no, under the Occupiers Liability Act 1957. And everything I'm discussing in terms of safe premises and all those things, you know, equally applies to gym one. As I've said from the beginning, I love the gym and I entreat people to go there to exercise, to keep themselves fit and all that, because I do it. But I also want people to know, say, some call no more out of one reason or the other, and you're more fault no more. They are also entitled to compensation. Ebi ana uti me ene. Ebi ana obi asi whatever be. Akwam. Now, some unyama winda amaka kan sisi ano. What is the limitation period? Under the Limitation Act, no. So upra up to 3 years. 3 years to make a claim against the defendant. The defendant in this case, bit my employer, no, bit my gem operator, no. In 2 or 3 years to make this claim. Me shall say no. My story of my client, Onyan Kratevi or say Carbona, now it's almost 5 years. Time now pound. And what I'm trying to say here is if for whatever reason you are in this category of a unibian, so what's sustaining an injury, because more than a year ago, I want you to know, say, you are right to claim compensation, you know, is still intact. Until anybody or fall into this category, you know, I entreat you, say, so when seeking legal advisor, seek legal advice on it, and you should be able to claim, quite rightly so. And you're not agree. Asama medeva tu jwa ene. Time no apa kakra. So I'm rounding up by saying, say, so plans were nipa obehwe sika wa lusu se wan kwadwuma ni na no defendant, which is the employer of the gym operator, has to pay. Now therefore no so anim na pra there is a way to assess it, to assess your injury to feelings, no, which you say pain and all those things, no. All those things will be taken into account. So depending on the nature of the injury, no, will determine how much compensation you should be entitled to. But to start with, no, people to say, okay, I'll be taking care of you whilst you are sick, no. You said you might want to sick or lose. Tells you out of call hospital. All those expenses now will be covered. And that is the element of the quantum of the whole process. Until we are back to summarize, no, and then discuss, say, accident at work claims or at the gym claims. But taking a team for through all those areas, so accident, no, is here. They should be entitled to compensation, you know. And with the discussion, no, this year. Now, my do be say, and energy. Obviously, no. Sir, discussion stays on the platform. You can watch it over and over again. Before I'm back on, obviously, no. I want to say, Ajumaya Edebremu is from City Law Solicitors. City Law Solicitors, yeah, well. Backing say open say who ya chida kwan ya ye wo unit 113 Backing Enterprise Center 50 Cambridge Road Backing IG 11 8FJ. The phone number 02033550782. Say, we hear in any of these areas of law, I'm Kenya. 1. Employment law. 2. Family law. CBA or Jayaba. Domestic violence or abuse. In fact, cancer for Joba. All these areas under the family, both private and public, city law solicitors, your say, Beyebenwo. Personal injury and clinical negligence, which is what I have come here to discuss. So, what prayer with mom? And I say, what driver, what kunya accident? And I say, what take care of no accident? And I say, Jumum no kupra. And I say, NHS now call hospital or call for treatment. Now, I'm double ya and I'm personal injury and clinical negligence department. Again, yes, you say Beyebenwo to claim the compensation you rightly deserve. Immigration, obviously, because immigration is life. So any area, any problem in the immigration, so we are there to help. Civil litigation and commercial disputes. So be the and I say, what sign contract to be na akasa ba ho. We are there to help. Kophobia mama sign contractor be what one send a letter before judgment. What the car no say your credit rating. No, buy from we will set it aside if it's a mrano or side. Near clean or credit rating, amount. Or credit file number. Consumer law. The bad platform is one more fully. We are very, very much aware. Every time I come here to educate people on those areas of law. And above all, housing and media and entertainment. This all any problem in these areas, don't look further. Just contact city law solicitors. I will promise you that we'll give you the best that you can ever get to solve your legal problem. And tiene, me do biya se someone be kan ho na ye adwuma wi. I mean shram na madam ase. That's the very English version, with MC Chaka. At the same time, 8:30. So thank you.